When you're told that the end of your WWE run is happening, Vince McMahon is not involved in that conversation. Is that correct?
No, not at all. And what happened was that I was feeling this calling to leave for about 9 months or so, but I didn't have the courage because everything said, in my head, you're stupid. You're getting paid well. You have a great salary. You have a great job. Why are you going to walk away? But my spirit longed for new adventure. I don't know why, Derek, but I just knew I had to get away. For how long? I did not know how long. Kevin Dunn, I finally had the courage to tell him, and Kevin Dunn thought I was joking at first. It took me 3 minutes to convince him that I was serious. And the first thing he said was, well, how about I give you 90 days? I'll give you 3 months paid. And I said, it won't work that way, Kevin, because I'll be counting down the days 90, 89, 88. I mentioned that last week on the show. And I said, Kevin, it might be 2 months, it might be 3 weeks, it might be 5 months. I just don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just need to get away and go somewhere for a while. Kevin Dunn goes, you're serious, aren't you? And I said, yeah. And he agreed that, this was like the end of May, that I'd work until the end of June and not to tell anybody. And I said, good. Can I tell Vince right now? And he goes, oh, no, something of this magnitude. I got to figure out a way to break the news to Vince because you're his golden boy. And this is going to really upset Vince. So I have to figure out a way. So Kevin Dunn made me swear, and I'm going to get angry later talking about it. Because when I recall these moments, Derek, I've made peace with them, but I'm also an empath, which means I can feel people's emotions when I'm around them. When they tell me stories about them, I can feel positive and negative energy. So when I go back and tell you a moment that happened that had a lot of emotion involved in it, that emotion comes back and I made peace with it. But
Sure.
Kevin Dunn says I can't tell anybody, not even my own staff. So it's about 3 weeks later. I have just over a week to go, and I'm shooting the Brock Lesnar SummerSlam commercial where F5s the shark
Yes.
in the ocean. And nobody knows I'm leaving, not even my own staff. And we always had these behind the scenes producers and camera people that were shooting me, the actors, the making of the commercials made for good television. And I noticed that halfway through the shoot, they all put their cameras down and stopped shooting. And John Gaburick was there, big. And I said, John, what's going on? And he goes, well, Kevin's about to tell the entire staff that you're leaving. I said, what? He goes, yeah, he's going to tell them right now. So we stopped shooting. I said, that is fucking bullshit, dude. He's like, he told me I couldn't even tell my own staff, and my staff is going to hear it from Kevin Dunn. So Barry Bross is there with me and said, hey, buddy, we're taking a lunch break right now. I said, Barry, come here. And I said, Barry, Kevin Dunn's going to address the entire staff in a couple of minutes. I want to tell you first that I'm leaving. I have just over a week to go. I was sworn not to tell anybody. And, I cannot be further away, Derek. I'm 3,000 miles away from Stanford. I'm in Los Angeles on a beach. And I find out that that's when Kevin's breaking news to the staff and probably to Vince as well. And I was furious, dude. I really was. So we finished the shoot. And I get back to Stanford, and it's just like Vince. I saw him a couple of times. He wouldn't even look at me. He was angry. And I don't blame him because in his mind, I probably just gave a spontaneous, like 4 or 5 day notice. He didn't know that I would have stayed for 6 more months if I knew I could take this time off. Sure. Or I would have been kicked out right then. Normally, when you say you want to leave WWE, which nobody does, it's like you're gone that day. Yeah. And nobody leaves that place. It's like a cult. I'm the one person that left. So Vince never got the story. He never heard my perspective. I had a phone call at 3:00 as I'm already driving home, crying as I go through the gates, leaving for the last time. And it's Vince's assistant that said, Vince, we'll see you now. And I'm like, well, I already left and I'm not coming back. I'm almost home. Because I felt Vince was pushing me off until the very, very end. And I never had closure with Vince. I never told him my reasons for leaving. And I think Vince has the wrong idea on why I left, because people say, why did you leave? What did Vince do to you? Well, bad, horrible things made you want to leave. And I'm like, Vince did nothing bad. He was wonderful to me. He was a great boss. And nothing to do with Vince at all. Everything to do with me and me wanting to get away. The company had become too corporate, become too sanitized. My direct ties with Vince, like I said last week, I no longer had them. And just, I needed a break. I think Triple H said it best that David Starr was probably burnt out, and that was probably part of it too. But if I could have talked to Vince, here's what I would have said. Dear Vince, we never had the chance to properly say goodbye, nor the opportunity for me to explain my reasons for wanting to take a sabbatical. I know you were angry, befuddled, confused. I was confused as well. I didn't know why I felt the need to leave. All I know is I'd reached a point in my life where this illusory world had lost all of its appeal. I wanted something deeper, more profound in life. Vince, I just want you to know that my departure from WWE had nothing to do with you, nor the way you treated me. In fact, I cannot have asked for a better boss. As you said on day one when I came to Stanford for the interview, this job will be fun. You made that promise. Well, that proved to be an understatement, Vince. It was beyond fun. It was an absolute joy working for you through all the highs and lows. You treated me like royalty. You made me feel that I was special. You always valued my feedback and my input on all things that we did. Financially, you took great care of me. You gave me raises, even though I never asked for them. For that, I am grateful. Professionally and personally, you allowed me to work on my own schedule, my own terms, because you knew something about me was different. And you trusted that I would never let you down and that I would deliver a promo, a package, or a cold open that was special and made people feel. Because as Vince said, it's all about emotion. For all that, I want to say thank you, Vince. Thank you for your trust and your belief in me. Thank you for all you did. Were it not for your guidance, your leadership, your encouragement, your enthusiasm, and all the freedoms you allotted me, I would not have achieved the successes that I have achieved in my career. Most importantly, Vince, you encouraged me to dare, to break down barriers, to cross lines and help take the WWE to brave new worlds and to heights we'd never reached before. You let me unleash my creativity, and in doing so, you said, David, fly. Vince, thank you. It is you who gave me the wings to soar. Never got to tell him that because Kevin Dunn things up.
How does it feel to get that off your chest?
Well, it felt great. And I wrote that last night. I got emotional. And I have a theory on why Vince took it so harsh and why he was so upset. And this came to me 2 nights ago, Derek, when I was lying in bed. It's like Vince treated a lot of people horribly, as we know. I was one of the exceptions, maybe the lone exception. He treated me wonderful. So in Vince's mind, he treats people horribly, berates them in public, yells at them, screams, and they stay because it's like a cult. Now, here is David Sahadi. I'm speaking in third person because this is Vince's mind right now. Here is David Sahadi, who he's treated so well, who he's taken care of. He's done everything right by. He's done nothing wrong, but I leave him. How can you understand that? How can you figure out the one person that he took care of and did everything right by is the one person who left him? That must have hurt. It must have hurt him tremendously. And it hurt me knowing that I was leaving Vince as well.